Hi guys, how's it? Kia ora, te me kiwi whanau g'day to everyone else, and howdy from somewhat warm Texas. It's still summertime here. We're still going to have these hot temperatures through the next few weeks. Just finished watching the game. I just want to say, man, I had the most people I'd ever come out to alive, and then it crashed on me. I was like at 29, 30 people, man. Like I said, I don't do this for the money. I do this just because I like following the game, and it's cool to have so many fans from overseas. I know everybody was doing a big braai in South Africa. What a game, man. I mean, I think I might have aged a bit watching that game, man. A lot to talk about here. Obviously, the final score coming away, 36-20 victory. Now tied with New Zealand for that top spot. It all comes down next week. Kings Park, Durban. I've heard it's sold out. Woohoo. But let's just talk about this game, guys. We need to go ahead and just talk about it. We just need to go ahead and get it over with. Let's get this out of the way. Let's get it started, man. 7th minute and penalty on Mostert. Bofelli kicks from like damn near midfield and nails it. He's 1 of 1 kicking so far on the day. 3-0, 7 minutes in. Offside penalty 4 or 5 minutes later on the Pumas, and Valemza decides to kick, and it is now 3-3. 3 minutes later, off the ball tackle by the Pumas, Valemza from pretty damn deep, and he shanks it. Kind of like, man, are we going to get in a kicking game? Because Bofelli can outkick a lot of folks. He is a very good, very, very reliable boot, and Bofelli there. 17th minute, Malcolm Marks gets called for not rolling away. Bofelli decides to kick, and he shanks that one. He's now 1-2. It's still 3-3, 17 minutes in. Oh, man. 19th minute, collapsed maul penalty. We go on advantage. We kick to touch. Ends, kick to touch. It leads to a line out. Hendrickson gets the ball, carries it in. Immediately, he gets held up. Immediately, Delende, everybody's like, hey, this guy is offside. This guy's offside. In fact, Carreras was, and we got awarded a penalty try, and Carreras got the award of a yellow card. So we go up by a man for the next 10 minutes. Thinking we've got a bit of an advantage with a man up. Edsabeth gets an offside penalty deep in our end. Bofelli kicks, and he's 2 of 3 so far on the day. Well, Hendrickson got held up on the first time. He did not get held up at the 30th minute. It's after a lineup, multiple maul collapse penalties on the Pumas. They were in trouble penalty-wise the first half. Bad. Like, it was not even close. I mean, I want to say it was like at one point they had like 3 of them in a row. We finally get it. Valemza does make it, and it is 17-6, 30 minutes into this. We are getting, damn close to that bonus point. Excuse me. Couple of minutes goes by. Malcolm Marks off a lineup. The Magician. I kept calling him that on my live feed. He is the Magician on the line out. Multiple, like I said, after an offside penalty on the Pumas. Valemza does miss, but it's 22-6, and we have hit bonus point territory 33 minutes into this game. Whistle goes off, siren goes off, halftime. We still have possession of the ball. Bertrand, after like repeated warnings for offside, he gets a yellow card at the 41st minute. Lud de Hager a minute later, off the line out. Unfortunately, was knocked on by Franco Mustard, so it does not count. We go into the half 22-6 with the bonus point already in hand. Looking good. Hoping the second half, more of the same. We can kind of pour it on with these Pumas, and unfortunately, it all goes downhill from there, it seems a bit. 57th minute, man, penalty advantage after 3 in a row for the Pumas. We get nothing out of it. Man, the second half, our discipline, literally, went from being, to, just being utter rubbish. We had no discipline in the second half. I feel like we were even worse than the Pumas in the first half. It was just bad. It never goes well. Second half, I even underlined it Exclamation points, man. Our discipline in the second half was absolutely horrible. I would be absolutely, completely pissed off if I was chalking it up. This was unacceptable. Unacceptable. This game should have never gotten this close. 59th minute, Willie LaRue gets a penalty after multiple infringements, so we go down a man. 65th minute, Cubelli crosses. It's almost like he crosses, but Quagga Smith with a high tackle. I didn't really personally think it was a high tackle. They give him the penalty try. It's just, and it all just kind of goes down from there. It's 22-13. A couple of minutes later, Marine gets a try, and the conversion is good. It's now 22-20, and I'm just like sitting here like, we had all of this, guys, all of this, and we were flushing it all down the toilet. Every single bit of it, man. I was so disappointed. Down 2 men. We make it through, only getting them pretty damn close, closer than I was for comfort. The 74th minute, Damien Dialende gets one after a line out, and Frunstein does convert, puts us back at 29-20, and the magician himself, Malcolm Marks, 79th minute, after a beautiful bit of play, Mapipi offloads it to him. He almost looks like he's going to knock it forward, but he maintains possession of the ball. He crosses at the 79th minute. Frunstein converts. 36-20, the final score. It should have been 36-6 at best. We should have blown these guys out of the water. After the way we played in the first half, we should have blown these guys out of the water. Our discipline just went to shit in the second half. Absolutely poor discipline. They became the dominant, and we became this. We're supposed to be soldiers, man. We're supposed to be the bomb squad, and we were playing like we were afraid. And that's just the fact of the matter. We play like this again next week, they're going to beat us. They're not going to run out of gas. I tip my hat. Julian Montoya, great game. Augustine Creevy coming in, the veteran. This guy's like mostly, I think he was the oldest guy out on the pitch, even older than Franz, man. 95 caps for the Argentinians, and he played great coming off the bench. Where's our leadership, man? Where was Sia for all of this? I would have been giving my teammates a tongue lashing like they'd never felt in their life, man. We went from playing not our best, but pretty damn good, I'd say B-level rugby in the first half, to completely almost flushing this entire game down the toilet in the second half. So what happened? Where did we go wrong? Did we think that the 22-6 at halftime was like, oh yeah, we're going to just walk through these guys? They beat the All Blacks. They beat the Wallabies. Their record is no worse than ours coming into this game. They beat the same two teams we did. They were 1-1 against the same two teams we were 1-1 against. And they had gotten the brakes beat out of them by the All Blacks in the previous round. I mean, that wasn't even close. And Hamilton, they beat the brakes off of those kids. So bad that Pablo Matera didn't even want to shake Dan Cole's hand at the end of the game. He was so pissed off. We had to know that this was the intensity they were going to bring to this game. And if we'd kept our end of the deal, we would have put up 50, we would have put up easily 40 plus points on these guys. But for some reason in the second half, our discipline went right out the window. And we allowed them to get back in this game, and it shouldn't have ended this way. We should have beaten these guys easily. But for some reason, we came out of the locker room like we were going to just walk through this, and they showed us, no, you're not. You're going to have to fight to win. I'm not even going to give a man of the match. That second half was some of the worst Springbok rugby I've ever seen. In a while. We played absolutely horrible in that second half. Until the last 5 or 6 minutes of the game, dude, it's a game of two halves. I've heard it, you've heard it, we've all said it. It's a game of two halves. And if we want to beat these guys next week, we're going to have to play 80 total minutes to beat them. Regardless of what the score is at halftime, we've got to come out And we've got to put our foot on their throat, and we've got to put them down. If we want to win this tournament, we've got to put our foot down on their throat and not let go next weekend. We've got to give them our all, everything we have next week for 80 minutes. Or we're not going to win the Rugby Championship. That's just the fact of the matter. I still think the Wallabies will beat the All Blacks next weekend. Will they get a bonus point? It's possible. I don't think so, but it's possible. We have got to win in Durban next week. There's no question. There's no question. It is a sold-out Kings Park. The fans are going to be loud. We've seen these home games this year, man. We've seen them, the intensity of the South African fans. That's it. Australia's got to go to Eden Park next week. You know how bad they'd like to beat the All Blacks in Eden Park in front of those fans. We've got to show that same intensity when we face the Pumas next weekend. We've got to put in 80 total minutes. We've got to put our foot down and not let go. It was almost as if we were driving the truck in the first half, and then the second half we put it on cruise control and put our feet up and thought we were going to cruise to the finish line. No. They could have beaten us in that second half. They beat us in the second half. We beat them for 40 minutes. They beat us for 35 minutes. That's simple. That's the fact of the matter. And if we want to win next weekend, we're going to have to put in a total 80-minute game, and it's going to have to be intense. And that's the fact. That's the fact of the matter. If Valemsa gets the start at fly half next week, I'll be totally happy with it. I don't mind him missing the kick still. But we've got to put in a total of 80 minutes next weekend if we expect to get that victory. And that's all that it is. So no man of the match. Congrats on the victory. Congrats on the bonus point. Some absolute rubbish rugby in the second half from the Springboks. And I'm a bit disappointed. I'm very disappointed in what I saw in the second half from this team. More disappointed than losses we've had, where it was minor things, this and that. We completely fell apart in the second half for 35 minutes. We fell apart. And we've got to fix that, or we're not going to win this thing. I want to go into the break that we're going to get for a couple of months here on top in the Southern Hemisphere. And the only way we're going to do it is if we come out next weekend and we put in a full 80 minutes. It's simple as that. So we will await the lineups. I will probably do the lineup video on Thursday, which happens to be, once again, my birthday, the big 4-0. It's a big one for me. But, yeah, friends staying, of course, money with the boot at the end of the game, but it should have never came to that point, in my opinion. But until then, I will talk to you guys very soon. I will do a URC update, hopefully before then. I'm going to see if I can sit down and watch a couple of these games throughout the week, and then give you guys a good update video. But I hope everybody else enjoys their Saturday and their Sunday still to come. You know, it's the weekend. It's when you get to kick back, you get to relax, enjoy time with friends and family, have a few drinks, which I'm sure a lot of my South African followers have been drinking like fish this entire second half because that's how bad it was. But until then, I will talk to you guys again very soon. Cheers, guys.